Hyper-realistic photograph of a massive underground drug cartel vault, floor-to-ceiling stacks of US dollar bills, $14 billion written on wall in chalk, single harsh spotlight from above, dramatic dark cinematic lighting, no people visible, cold blue and gold tones, 35mm film grain. Hyper-realistic photograph of Mexican drug cartel compound exterior, 1980s era, remote mountains of Sinaloa, armed guards at entrance, luxury black SUVs parked outside, mountains visible in background, dramatic dark cinematic lighting, cold blue tones, 35mm film grain, film noir style. Hyper-realistic photograph of massive cocaine processing facility deep in Mexican jungle, industrial machinery, workers in masks, drums of chemicals everywhere, harsh industrial lighting, no faces visible, cold blue and green tones, 35mm film grain, documentary style. Hyper-realistic photograph of cartel accountant office, massive mahogany desk covered in stacks of cash in multiple currencies, ledger books open showing billions in transactions, single desk lamp casting harsh shadows, cold blue tones, 35mm film grain, film noir style. Hyper-realistic photograph of El Chapo famous prison escape tunnel, 1.5-kilometer-long underground passage, wooden supports on walls, electric lighting strung along ceiling, motorcycle on tracks visible, cold gray underground lighting, 35mm film grain, documentary style. Hyper-realistic photograph of FBI and DEA joint operations room, massive screens showing surveillance photos and maps of Mexico, red markings on locations, agents in dark suits studying documents, cold blue operational lighting, 35mm film grain, thriller style. Hyper-realistic photograph of Mexican Marines surrounding a modest coastal house at dawn, helicopters visible overhead, cold gray morning light, tactical gear and weapons visible, dramatic tension in every element, 35mm film grain, documentary style. Hyper-realistic photograph of U.S. federal courtroom interior, defendant dock empty, massive security presence visible, jury box and evidence screens visible, cold clinical courtroom lighting, deep shadows consuming edges, 35mm film grain, documentary style. Hyper-realistic photograph of FBI evidence room showing empty tables where money should be, $14 billion unaccounted for, written on whiteboard, investigators standing looking puzzled, cold fluorescent lighting, 35mm film grain, documentary style. Hyper-realistic photograph of ADX Florence Supermax prison exterior, most secure prison in America, razor wire fences, concrete walls, cold gray overcast sky, no windows visible anywhere, complete isolation in every detail, 35mm film grain, documentary style. Hyper-realistic photograph of massive world map on dark wall, red string connecting multiple countries, Mexico, Panama, Switzerland, Cayman Islands, Dubai, question marks over each location, single harsh spotlight from above. Where is the $14 billion, written in bold on map, cold blue tones, 35mm film grain. Hyper-realistic photograph of empty Supermax prison cell interior, single metal bed, concrete walls, tiny window with bars, cold gray clinical lighting, absolute isolation and emptiness, 35mm film grain, documentary style.